Hello everyone, so welcome back to CPTV. So today let's continue practice IELTS speaking with me, all right? So now we start with what? IELTS speaking review 1-8. Okay. IELTS speaking part 1. So what do you do? So I work in IT for well-known educational organization based in Hanoi, Vietnam. I've been doing this job for over a year now. What are your responsibilities? So I would tasked with building the company website. However, my expertise is front-end web development. So I am only in charge of website interface. There's another team that is in back-end development. Why did you choose to do that type of job or that job? So I don't have any noble reasons like it's my passion or I want to build the best website ever. I studied IT at university because I was told that software engineer would be a promising career and my job peeps pay really well, so that's a bonus. If there's some other kind of work you would rather do, not really. So my main incentive is financial gain. So I have no complaints about my job. Besides, I do not have any skill expertise in other field of work. So changing careers is out of the question for me now anyway. What do you like about your job? The fact that it pays well. Also, my coworkers are very professional and competent, and my boss knows how to create a collaborative and supportive environment. And there's no unhealthy competition inside the organization either, so that's a plus. What do you dislike about your job? I can't think of anything I dislike about my job. As I said, I am happy with the salary and the work environment is better than I ever expected it could be. So really, there's nothing I could possibly complain about. Do you miss being a student? Absolutely not. My time being a student was the most miserable time of my life. I was bullied for no reason and I didn't have any friends. Plus, the schoolwork was just so boring and tedious. Okay, so here we come to a lot of new words here. Based in có trụ sở tại đó, một số words in the company is based in California. To be tasked with, được giao nhiệm vụ ha. They are tasked with cleaning the floor. Expertise, chuyên môn. My expertise is dealing with problems about hardware. To be in charge of, chịu trách nhiệm. I'm in charge of managing finance. Noble reasons, lý do cao quý. She did it for a noble reason. A promising career, một sự nghiệp hứa hẹn. She has a promising career ahead. Pays really well, trả nhiều tiền. I love my job as it pays really well. Main incentive, sự khuyến khích chính. Money is the main incentive in my job. Field of work, lĩnh vực công việc. So they need to have certification in their fields of work. To be out of the question, nằm ngoài câu hỏi không khả thi. Asking my mom to go out is out of question. Competent, có năng lực. He is a competent accountant. Supportive environment, môi trường có sự giúp đỡ. I love working in a supportive environment. To complain, phàn nàn, he always complain about his working environment. The most miserable time of my life. Khoảng thời gian đau khổ nhất trong cuộc đời tôi hả? The most miserable time of my life was 2 years ago when I was broke. To be bullied, bị bắt nạt. When I went to school, he was always bullied. Family and friends. So do you have a large family or small family? I have a large family with 6 members, my grandma, my parents, and my older brother. They are living together at the moment, but I have plans to move out soon. How much time do you manage to spend with members of your family? Not much. I work like 12 hours a day and usually have to bring home some extra work. On top of that, I like to spend between 1 or 2 hours a day working out so that my body and mind can handle the workload. But it means that I only have around 1 or 2 hours a day to be with my family, which, to be honest, is enough. Do you have many friends? Why not? I used to have no friend back when I was in school. I got bullied a lot actually, so I didn't like the ideas of making friends. But now I have made quite a few friends at work, and all of them are super nice. Do you prefer to be alone or to be with your friend? It depends. For the most part, I like to be alone, but sometimes I prefer hanging out with my friends. I guess uh, introverts can get lonely too sometimes and want some company. Okay, and here are some new words. To move out. Chuyển ra ngoài. I'm planning to move out next month. Extra work. Công việc thêm. The reason why I love my job is that I don't have extra work. On top of that, trên hết, on top of that, my family is great. To work out, tập thể dục. I usually go to the park and work out in the morning. Handle the workload. Xử lý khối lượng công việc. So I have to drink 2 cups of coffee to handle the workload. To make friends, kết bạn. It's really easy to make friends with him. To be super nice, though. Most of my teachers are super nice. For the most part, hầu hết, for the most part, I do my homework in the evening. For the most part, I do my homework in the evening. To hang out with, đi ra ngoài chơi, I often hang out with my friends on Mondays. Introvert, người hướng nội. I am introvert who like to stay at home alone. Company, đi cùng với người khác. They are good company. What's the weather like where you live? It's pretty fickle. The weathers can change really quickly, and sometimes you can't tell whether it's winter or summer. Do you prefer cold or hot weather? I don't like sweating in general, so I prefer cold weather. But when it is freezing cold, I feel kind of uncomfortable because I have to put on too many layers of clothing, and sometimes I can't feel my nose. Do you prefer cold or hot weather? I don't like sweating in general, but I prefer so I prefer cold weather. But when it's freezing cold, I feel kind of uncomfortable because I have to put on too many layers of clothing, and sometimes I can't feel to my nose. Do you prefer dry or wet weather? Dry weather for sure. I don't like getting my clothes wet, and sometimes wet weather make me feel kind of sad. Being a boring individual as I already am, I don't appreciate any extra sadness. Dry weather for sure. I don't like getting my clothes wet. And sometimes wet weathers make me feel kind of sad. Being a boring individual as I already am, I don't appreciate any extra sadness. Are you in the habit of checking the weather forecast? Not really. I only check the weather forecast before certain occasions, like when I have to attend an outdoor event or when I am about to go somewhere on holiday. I really hate when the weather's turn bad when you are on holiday. Uh-huh. Not really. I only check the weather forecast before certain occasions, like when I have to attend an outdoor event or when I am about to go somewhere on holiday. I really hate when the weather turns bad when you are on holiday. To be fickle, thay đổi thường và đột ngột. It's so hard to predict weather since it's kind of fickle. In general, nhìn chung. In general, I don't like wearing jeans in sunny days. Layers of clothing, các lớp quần áo. I cannot put on many layers of clothing when it's come to summer. A boring individual, một người nhàm chán. For me, he is a boring individual. Attend an outdoor event, tham dự sự kiện ngoài trời. I love attending an outdoor event in summer. The weather turns bad. Thời tiết xấu đi. We had to change the plan scene. The weather turned bad. Writing. Do you like writing when you were to try? Why or why not? Definitely not. During my childhood, so writing was number one's nightmare. My handwriting was a mess, and I could never think of anything to write. Definitely not. During my childhood, so writing was my number one nightmare. My handwriting was a mess, and I could never think of anything to write. What kind of things do you like doing? What kind of thing do you write during a typical day? I have to write daily reports, but they are fairly short. And I only have to write them in bullet point format, so really little effort and skills is required. So really little effort and skill is required. Do you think the kinds of thing you write will change in the future? Why and why not? Um, I honestly don't know. I am the one who determine the kinds of thing that I need to write about. That's up to my boss. I'm not the one who determine that kinds of things that I need to write about. That's up to my boss. If my boss want me to write a different type of report, then I'll have to do it. Do you think the kind of things you write will change in the future? Well, why not? I honestly don't know. I'm not the one who determine the kind of thing that I need to write about. That's up to my boss. If my boss want me to write different type of report, then I have to do it. Do you prefer typing or writing things by hand, and why? Since my handwriting is a mess, it's pretty bad, so typing is my preference. Also, typing is much faster and more convenient. I can easily correct any mistakes and use many other features available on Microsoft Word to compose different types of documents. Since my handwriting is pretty bad, typing is my preference. Also, typing is much faster and more convenient. I can easily correct any uh, mistakes and use many other features available on Microsoft Word to compose different types of documents. Okay, here are some new words. My number one nightmare, ác mộng số 1 của tôi đúng không? So learning to write letters was number one nightmare when I was in school. My handwriting was a mess. Chữ viết tay của tôi là một mớ hỗn độn sao? I should not write this formal letter since my handwriting was a mess. Daily reports, báo cáo hàng ngày. My boss requires me to send him daily reports. Bullet point format, định dạng cấu trúc, định dạng dấu đầu dòng. She has write her ideas in bullet point format. To be up to, tùy thuộc vào, it's up to you. To be my preference, thích cái gì đó hơn. Typing on laptop is my preference. Correct any mistakes, sửa bất kỳ lỗi nào. I have more chance to correct any mistakes when typing. To compose different types of documents, soạn thảo các văn bản tài liệu khác nhau. To compose different types of documents are you Google Docs. Puzzle. Did you do puzzles in your childhood? Yeah, sure. I used to do jigsaw puzzle all the times when I was young, and I also like playing around with a Rubik's cube too. But I was never very good at it. I mean, it took me ages to solve it. When I was a teenager, I liked doing crossword puzzles as well. Yeah, sure. I used to do jigsaw puzzle all the time when I was young. And I also like playing around with a Rubik's cube too. But I was never very good at it. I mean, it took me ages to solve it. When I was a teenager, I like doing crossword puzzles as well. Do you like doing word puzzles or number puzzles? Which is more difficult for you? I like doing both actually, but I wouldn't say I was very good at either of them really. I don't mind playing around with Sudoku sometime, and as I mentioned, I like crossword puzzle as well. But in terms of which is harder, I couldn't really say. I really like doing both actually, but I wouldn't say I was very good at either of them really. I don't mind playing around with Sudoku sometime, and as I mentioned, I really like crossword puzzles as well, but in terms of which is harder, I couldn't say. I couldn't really say. When do you do puzzles? So during your trip or when you feel bored? Well, I don't really do puzzles very often these days, mostly when I was younger. Occasionally, I might do a crossword puzzle if I come across one somewhere, like in a newspaper or something. Do you like it is good for our people to do puzzle? Yeah, I mean, they are a good way to pass the time, especially if you are bored and have nothing else to do. I suppose that they are quite good to keep your mind active, which could probably be a problem for many old people. Yeah, I mean, they're a good way to pass the time, especially if you're bored and have nothing else to do. I suppose they're quite good to keep your mind active, which could probably be a problem for many of people. Playing around with a Rubik's cube. Chơi vòng quanh khối, chơi vòng quanh khối Rubik's. My son's like playing around with a Rubik's cube. In terms of về cái gì đó, in terms of finance, so we need to boost ourselves. Come across, gặp thấy, I come across that laptop, I came across that laptop at a shopping mall. Keep your mind active, giữ cho tâm trí luôn hoạt động. So playing chess can keep your mind active. Names. Does your name have a special meaning? I think so, yeah. I mean, all Vietnamese names have special meanings attached to them. Some names have more than one meaning, and it depends on how each person interprets them. But unfortunately, I don't know the special meanings of my name, and because I don't really care much about that, I've never asked my parents to tell me. Does your name have a special meaning? I think so, yeah. I mean, all Vietnamese names have special meanings attached to them. Some names have more than one meaning, and it depends on how a person interprets them. But unfortunately, I don't know the special meaning of my name, and because I don't really care much about that, I've never asked my parents to tell me. How do you choose name for your next generation? Oh, in Vietnamese culture, so we choose name for our children based on many different things. But so parents usually choose the names that are related to good fortune or a certain quality of life that they wish their children would have in the future. So in Vietnamese culture, so we choose names for our children based on different things. So parents usually choose the names that are related to good fortune or a certain quality of life that they wish their children would have in the future. Are there any differences between how Vietnamese name their children now and the past? Um, no, I don't think there are, since our cultures are heavily influenced by the Chinese culture. The way we name our children in the past were quite similar with how Chinese name their children. And in the present day, I think most Vietnamese names are based on Chinese culture. Since our cultures were heavily influenced by Chinese culture, so the ways we name our culture in the past were quite similar with how Chinese people name their children. And in the present day, I think most Vietnamese names are based in Chinese culture as well. A special meaning, ý nghĩa đặc biệt hả? Yeah, actually, I don't think I have special meaning on my name. Good fortune, vận may. She has good fortune to work with him. Oh, she has good fortune to work with him, and I find it's a good fortune for me to work with him. To be similar with, tương đồng với. The way to make this food is similar with making noodles. Happy. What makes you happy when you were little? Things that make me happy during childhood were simple things like getting new toys or meeting with my relatives on special occasions. Unlike most kids my age, I didn't show any sign of happiness when I received a good grade at school. Even my parents didn't actually care about my grade at school. So, what makes you happy when you were little? Things that make me happy during childhood were simple things like getting new toys or meeting with my relative on special occasions. Unlike most kids my age, I didn't show any signs of happiness when I received a good grades at school. Even my parents didn't actually care about my grades at school. What do you think will make you feel happy in the future? I actually don't know. Right now, money makes me happy, but I'm not the type of person who thinks very far ahead, so I don't know what will make me happy in the future. I actually don't know, really. Right now, money makes me happy, but I'm not the type of person who thinks very far ahead, so I don't know what will make me happy in the future. Simple thing, những điều đơn giản. I love he loves simple things. to be on special occasion. People tend to wear formal clothes on special occasions. Sign of happiness, dấu hiệu của sự hạnh phúc. Laughing can be considered a sign of happiness. A good grade, một con điểm tốt. I didn't get good grade after the exam. The type of person who's tuyết người mà. She's the type of person who loves cooking. Okay, library. Do you often go to the library? I don't know. Everything I need to know for my career, I can research for free on the internet. So I have no real need to go to the library. Going to the library needs a printed book seems like an unnecessary ordeal for me. Oh, I don't know. No. Everything I need to know for my career, I can research for free on the internet. So I have no real need to go to the library. Going to the library can read need to read a printed book can seem like an unnecessary ordeal for me. Did you go to the library when you were a kid? Once, I think, but the only reasons was because I was curious to know what it's worth like inside a library. So I visited my school library using a student card. That's was the first and the last time I went to the library. Once, I think, but the only reason was because I was curious to know what it was like inside a library. So I visited my school libraries using my student card, and that's what the first and the last time I went to the library. Do Vietnamese kids often go to the library? It's hard to give an absolute answer to these questions, but I guess it would depend upon what type of school the kids go to. Public schools in Vietnam don't really encourage young students to use library, while international schools do really great job of providing their students with reasons to frequently study at the library. It's hard to give an absolute answer to this question, but I guess it would depend upon what type of school the kids go to. Public school in Vietnam don't really encourage young students to use library, while international schools do a great job of providing their students with reason to frequently study at the library. Public school in Vietnam don't really encourage young students to use library, but while international schools do a great job of providing their students with reason to frequently study at the library. A printed book, một quyển sách in. So she gave me a printed book as a gift on my birthday. An unnecessary ordeal, một thử thách không cần thiết. Climbing that mountain. Climbing that mountain seems like an unnecessary ordeal for me. I was curious to know. Tôi tò mò muốn biết hả? I was curious to know how to make the cake. Student card, thẻ sinh viên. I need to have my student card to enter the room. The first and last time. Lần đầu tiên và cũng là lần cuối cùng. So that's what the first and the last time I tried that food. It would depend on, tùy thuộc vào, it would depend upon ages. Public schools, trường công lập. So my mom wants me to go to public school instead of private ones. Do a really great job of, làm một việc nào đó tốt. She does very great job of taking care of the pets. Morning time. Do you get up early in the morning? I usually stay up late most nights, so it's not really possible for me to wake up early. I try to get up early a few times, but I always feel so sleepy and was unable to concentrate. I usually stay up late most night, and it's not always possible for me to wake up early. I did try to get up early a few times, but I always feel so sleepy and was unable to concentrate. Do you have the same morning routine every day? Yes, my work is quite repetitive and I have no reason or motivation to change my routine. My work is quite repetitive and I have no reason or motivation to change my routine. I usually eat breakfast at home, occasionally when I feel like it. Occasionally when I feel like it. But there's a lot of great breakfast options in my neighborhood, such as phở, bánh mì, or bánh bao, and I much prefer to buy coffee rather than make it at home. Occasionally, when I feel like it. But there are lots of great breakfast options in my neighborhood, such as phở, bánh mì, or bánh bao, and I much prefer to buy coffee rather than make it at home. Are there any differences between what you do in the morning now and what you did in the past? Certainly, my morning routines now is different from my routine in the past. Now that I have a job, I usually have a quick breakfast on the way to work rather than prepare breakfast at home like I used to. It's much easier and I can't be late for work. I went to the library. Oh, what happened here? Certainly, my daily routine now is different from my routine in the past. Now that I have my job, I usually have a quick breakfast on my way to work rather than prepare breakfast at home like I used to. It's much easier and I can be late for work. Stay up late, thức khuya. It's not good to stay up late too often. To be repetitive, lặp lại, advertisements are repetitive. I love great breakfast options. Lựa chọn bữa sáng tuyệt. There are a lot of great breakfast options around my area. Much prefer, thích nhiều hơn. I much prefer to skip breakfast rather than spend time making it when I'm late for school. My morning routine, thói quen buổi sáng. My morning routine starts at 5 a.m. A quick breakfast, một buổi sáng nhanh. She usually has a quick breakfast before going to work. To be late for work, trễ giờ làm. She has never been late for work. Tidy. Hey, are you a tidy person? I would like to think that I am, is even with busy schedule, I always try to spare a little time to clean my room every day. I would like to think that I am, even with a busy schedule, I always try to spare a little time to clean my room every day. So do you think people should be tidy all the time? I do. No matter how busy you are, you still need to be tidy. Being tidy actually helps you clear your mind and reduce stress, which will have a positive impact on your concentration and productivity. Are you tidier at work or at home? I'm tidy both at work and at home. I believe if you are a tidy person, then you will be a tidy. Then you will be tidy everywhere you are. How do you usually keep your place tidy? As I said, so I clean my room every day. I admit that there was a few times when I feel immensely stressed out from work and I thought about not cleaning my room, but being a tidy person, I just couldn't stand a messy living space. So I use up all of my remaining energy to get up and tidy my room. How do you usually keep your place tidy? As I said, I clean my room every day. I admit that there was a few times when I felt immensely stressed out from work not and I thought about not cleaning my room, but being a tidy person, I just couldn't stand a messy living space. So I use up all of my remaining energy to get up and tidy my room. Okay? A busy schedule, một thời khóa biểu bận rộn. I cannot hang out with you due to a busy schedule. Clean your mind and reduce stress. Thư giãn là làm sạch tâm trí và giảm căng thẳng. I think you should hang out to clear your mind and reduce stress. To have a positive impact on, có một tác động tích cực lên. So relaxing will have a positive impact on your working performance. Relaxing will have a positive impact on your working performance, productivity, năng suất. Working without respite can be harmful to your productivity. To be tidy, gọn gàng. I don't think that he's a tidy person. Immensely stressed out. Căng thẳng vô cùng. Whenever I feel immensely stressed out, I will drink beer. To make messy, bừa bộn. His room is kind of messy. Tidy my room, dọn dẹp phòng của tôi. So my mom requires me to tidy my room. Art. What forms of visual arts are popular in your country? Well, I am not particularly interested in art, so I am not sure what forms are popular, but my best guess would be ceramic painting, which is one of the oldest traditional art forms in Vietnam. Well, I'm not particularly interested in art, so I am not sure what forms are popular, but my best guess would be ceramic painting, which is one of the oldest traditional art forms in Vietnam. Are there any differences between the art in your country and the art in question's country? I honestly have no idea since I know nothing about art in question country. Like I said, I'm not particularly interested in art and consequently I know very little about art in my country or any other countries for that matter. I honestly have no ideas and I know nothing about art in Western country. Like I said, I'm not particularly interested in art and consequently I know very little about art in my country or any other country for that matter. I know very little about art in my country and any other country for that matter. Do you want to be an artist? I don't think I have what it takes to be an artist. I have quite a poor sense of artistic value and I have no talent in any kind of art. I don't think that I have what it takes to be an artist. I have quite a poor sense of artistic values and don't I think that I possess a good sense of artistic values and I must admit that I have like um considerable talent and painting. To be not particularly interested in. To be not particularly interested in không đặc biệt quan tâm hứng thú đến. I'm not particularly interested in football. Ceramic painting, tranh gốm sứ. I love looking at ceramic painting. Traditional art forms, các loại hình nghệ thuật truyền thống. Museum is a place where visitors can see many traditional art forms. Museum is a place where visitors can see many traditional art forms. I know very little about biết rất ít về ha. I know very little about music. For that matter, dùng để nói câu tuyên bố trên cũng đúng với các trường hợp khác. I don't want to learn Chinese or any language or other language for that matter. To have what it takes, có năng lực. He has what it takes to be successful in music industry. In poor sense, cảm giác kém. She has a poor sense of humor. Okay. So that's it for today. So I hope that you can gain some interesting knowledge. So see you in the next video. Bye bye. You.